There we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. Or should I say good early afternoon, everybody. I'm your instructor, Pierre Hui, aka Mr. P. The P is for patience. The P is for pass your barber exam. The P is for perseverance. All that good stuff. Today is the 11th. Today is Veterans Day. I have a student of mine that is a veteran, and he made a request. It's like, hey, man, can you give me a little bit more content? A little bit more than 15 minutes. I said, yes, I can. I sure can. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And I'm feeling really good today, too, y'all. I had a very big breakfast. Got a chance to get some rest. So here's what we're going to do. Y'all know the breakdowns. Breakdowns always coincide with the days of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Coincides with the 4 domains of the CIB. What does the CIB stand for? Candidate Information Bulletin. It's where State Board tells you what they're looking for. What is my state? My state is South Carolina. Am I going to be looking into other states and other CIBs? Yes, I am. Okay. All of that stuff is coming down the pipeline. Now, that being said, today is Monday. Scientific concepts, the most troublesome, worrisome, tedious one. It is the most failed. Everybody tends to have missed the most questions out of scientific concepts. So guess what we're going to do today? We're going to jump on here and we're going to do some studying, because I know y'all won't do it by yourself. Out of maybe 100 people, it might be 5 of y'all that actually do the studying on your own, but that's okay. So if you don't want to do the studying on your own, you can find me. Now, I do public studying online like today. CK, what's up, baby? But typically, I know if y'all are not trying to do the studying, you want to get to the pertinent information, you want to get to the important information. I do have a paid class. It is in the link below. I do have an email list. It is on the link below, because I do have other classes that I like talking about. I'm definitely getting into the taxes, the investment side, the business side of the industry and all that stuff. But before you, dear student, can do all of that stuff, you got to pass your test and get your license and all that good stuff. But you should have an LLC. You should LLC your chair, if nothing else. That's another story for another day. What's up, Adrian? What's happening? Oh, yeah, we back at it. We back at it, CK. Look, anybody, all my TikTokers, if you are not following CK, y'all need to go follow CK right this second. And look, CK, I need some more of them recipes, too. You know what I'm saying? I done got back in the kitchen, too, so another story for another day. All right. For my StreamYarders, for my Facebookers, YouTubers, IGers, etc., that can see my screen, I'm going to share the screen. We're going to pull up the CIB, and we're going to pick our topic within scientific concepts today. But again, per one of my veterans requests for Veterans Day, I'm going to do a little bit more today. We're going to go past the 15-minute mark that I typically like to do. And I'm going to make sure that y'all get beyond your money's worth today. So first one we're going to talk about is applying blood exposure procedures. So the last time we went through point of contact A, that was in infection control safety practices. Now, y'all, I tend to go through infection control and safety practices a lot because I tend to see it a lot on the test. I tend to hear about it a lot on the test. Okay. Thank you for the like, CK. So, and the reason being, a lot of times that's their go-to for the CIB. As far as like high percentage questions, you're going to see things dealing with disease and infection control, things like that, how they cause, how they transmit it. You're going to see things dealing with sanitation and cleaning. You're going to see things dealing with disinfection, sterilization, contamination, cross-contamination. What are the similarities? What are the differences between the two, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we go through that a lot, but we did that last week. So what we're going to do this week, we are going to start with number 3A, applying blood exposure procedures. And for my students, we are studying out of the Milady Barber book. This is the 6th edition. Let me remind you guys, they are coming out with a new book, a new edition of the barbering book come January. I'm very excited about seeing if there's any differences between the books. And that's something that, again, I want to make sure that I start to explore the differences between the different books, because They present information in different ways. There are some high percentage questions that are actually in some of the old versions of the books as well. Okay. All right. RPG Gamer Hub, what's happening? How you doing, man? Welcome to the live. We are on page 94 if you have your books with you. Okay. Page 95, we're going to talk about handling an exposure incident. Okay. So first of all, what are the materials, implements, and equipment that you're going to need? You're going to need 1, antiseptic, bandages, cotton, disposable gloves, disposable paper towels, liquid soap, and a plastic bag. Okay. Number 1, blood exposure means when you accidentally cut or nick or something like that. Well, basically you drawing blood in some way, shape, or form. Now, a lot of times people think that it's just, oh, well, you cut somebody with a razor. There are other ways to draw blood. Very, very common one is when you're doing the shape up. And so a lot of barbers, especially urban barbers, we like to set our blades flush to each other so we can get a very crispy shape up. Well, if your client has pseudo folliculitis, which is known as razor bumps, and you go over a bump with the trimmer, you can draw blood. That's the same as drawing blood. All right. Anytime you see blood, we consider that drawing blood. Technically, that is a blood exposure incident. Okay. Now let's talk about how to handle it. Number 1, should you accidentally cut a client or draw blood, calmly take the following steps. Number 1, stop the service immediately. I mean, that should be common sense, right? Number 2, dispose of the blade in a sharp container and place the razor in a container designated for cleaning and disinfection. Now, if it's your trimmers, spray your trimmers with an antiseptic or a cleaning product, a chemical cleaning product such as Clippercide, right? Or whatever equivalent that you have. But spray it with Clippercide, put those up, wipe them off. Okay. And you're probably going to be taking the blade off and disinfecting the blade and all that good stuff too. Okay. 3, face your client. Calmly apologize for the incident. In my 29 years of handling clippers, there has every single time if I have a blood exposure incident or something like that. Hey, Jazzy, if there's any blood drawn and I've apologized, they're usually understanding. No, not usually. 100% of the time it has been understanding when I've drawn blood. It hasn't been nothing crazy. It might be a nick with using my razor, but typically it may be me using the trimmers over razor bumps, right? Well, the thing about it is 100% of the time over 29 years, they've always been forgiven, especially when you apologize. Oh, hey man, I nicked you. I'm sorry. I'm taking care of it now. That's all you got to say. And they'll usually forgive you. There's a 99.9% chance that they'll be like, oh, okay, we understand. Just, do what you got to do for that section and then finish. They'll still let you finish the cut, by the way. They're not going to, oh my God, you slice my neck off. It ain't nothing that bad. Number 4, excuse yourself to go wash your hands. That is very, very important. Go wash your hands. Even if you didn't get the blood on you, anything like that, go wash your hands anyway, because you're about to proceed with other blood exposure incident handling. Okay. That being said, hands are clean. Now you put on the gloves. Apply slight pressure to the area with a moistened cotton round to stop the bleeding. Okay. What's up, Floyd? Next, dispose of the used cotton round in a plastic storage bag. Then gently clean with an antiseptic and have the client wash the area if it is appropriate, if it's called for. Okay. Next, you dispose of the antiseptic wipe, place it in a plastic storage bag or trash can. You are going to get styptic powder. Styptic powder is it is specially formulated for this. Okay. Dispense styptic powder onto a cotton round and use a cotton swab to apply it to the injury to stop any residual bleeding. So you got to make sure you got styptic powder. And that's a high percentage test question. They're going to ask you what kind of things would you use to treat nicks or cuts. If styptic powder is in the answer key, that's going to be the best answer. Now, they slick with these questions. So they'll ask it in a way where all the answers make sense. So they may say, you know, which one are you going to use? Which one most effectively works for nicks and cuts for a blood exposure incident? And the choices may be alcohol, antiseptic, what's another one? You know, well, styptic powder, and then they might have one more, you know, they might just say like a cleaning wipe or something like that. Now, all of those make sense, right? And if you don't have one there, you can use another one of those. Now, we know alcohol is probably the worst answer out of all of those, but how many people we know they will use alcohol for a nick or a cut, or peroxide for a nick or a cut? But hey, Fiona, what's up? Good morning. But which one is the best answer? The best answer that you're looking for is styptic powder. All right, straight like that. And thank you for the live, Fiona. If y'all not following my friend Fiona, go follow her right now, Fiona Salmon. Okay. All right. So where were we? We did the styptic powder. Next, we apply an adhesive bandage to completely cover the wound. So you got to have a first aid kit. That's another reason why State Board requires you to have all of this stuff. Okay. Next, clean, disinfect the workstation as necessary. 13. This is step 13. Discard all single-use contaminated objects such as wipes or cotton balls in a plastic bag, and then place in a trash bag. Deposit sharp disposables in a sharp box. Dispose of double bag items in sharp containers as required by state or local law. And the information on these laws may be found on your local board website or through OSHA, who we talked about last week, all right, in our scientific study, all right. Remember, before you remove your gloves, all tools and implements that have come into contact with blood or other body fluids must be thoroughly cleaned and completely immersed in an EPA-registered hospital disinfectant solution designed for 10 minutes. Blood may carry pathogens, so you should never touch an open sore or a wound. Gloves should always be removed with caution to avoid touching the contaminated surface of the glove. Remember, one glove by holding it in another glove hand, sliding your finger under the glove at the base of the glove and pulling it over the other contaminated glove, never allowing either glove to come in contact with your skin. Let's talk about that real quick. Okay, so we're going to dive into talking about the practical for a second. Blood exposure is actually a section within itself for your practical. They are looking for that. Those are little things like that you think that this is an easy section, which it really is, but they want to see these steps executed in the order, right? That's what they're saying by, all right, well, you slide one glove off and then you slide the next glove off, just making sure that there's no contact with the glove that may have the blood on it, that type of thing. That's why they do that. Now, it's been outlined for you for the theory part of the theory part of the book, but keep this in mind. That also goes for the blood exposure section of your practical, and it is on both practicals. It is on the registered barber practical. It is on the master haircare practical. Both of them, they want you to pretend that you've cut yourself. Well, guess what? The blood exposure procedures that we just talked about not only apply for you having that on a client, that also applies to you yourself. So when you put that glove on, when you're taking it off, there's a certain way to take it off. You're taking the gloves off in a manner that you're still protecting yourself from any blood exposure. Okay. All right. That covers that for blood exposure. Next, we are going to skip, because last week we also talked about identifying requirements of government agencies related to public protection. That is the CDC, OSHA, and the EPA. We talked about them. Okay. So next we are going to talk about point of contact B, which is human anatomy and physiology. just gonna do a little bit. We ain't gonna go crazy. We know got to our 15 minutes, but like I said, per the request of one of my veterans for Veterans Day, we ain't gonna go too crazy, but we'll probably do another 10-15 minutes somewhere around there. All right. B, human anatomy and physiology. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Identifying function and structure of the hair and scalp and skin. Identifying bones related to the head, face, neck, shoulders, upper back. 3, identify muscles and joints and their functions related to head and face, neck, shoulders, and upper back. And 4, understand the functions of the body systems. That is the nervous system, circulatory system, endocrine system, integumentary system. All right. Let's knock those out real quick. Now, here's the thing. Now, most of that is low percentage. And what do I mean by low percentage? Low percentage means there is less than a 50% chance that you're going to see in detail about those systems. But you do need to know what the systems are, and you do need to know the functions. Now, anything past that, you really don't need to know as much, because the previous 3 for human anatomy and physiology are going to be more pertinent. They're going to be more high percentage. All right. So let's start there. And we have, no, that's not it right there. Okay, there go that system. Yeah. All right. So understanding the functions of body systems, you need to know what a system is first. Thank you so much, Fiona. Thank you. All right. What are body systems? They are also known as systems. They are groups of body organs acting together to perform one or more functions. All right. So you got the skeletal system. And why don't they have it? All right. We'll skip that one because that's not in the. Oh, I see what they're doing. All right. So we're going to skip that. We're going to find the nervous system. There we go. All right. Neurology, study of the structure, function, and pathology of the nervous system. The nervous system is one of the most important systems of the body because it controls and coordinates the functions of all other systems and makes them work together. Every square inch of the human body is supplied with fine fibers known as nerves. And how many times we talk about they get on our last nerve? Divisions of the nervous system. You got the central nervous system and you got the peripheral nervous system. All right. Central nervous system consists of the brain, cranial nerves, spinal cord, spinal nerves. It controls consciousness and all mental activities, functions of the 5 senses, and voluntary muscle actions, including all body movements and facial expressions. Next, you have the peripheral nervous system. It's made up of sensory motor nerve fibers that extend from the brain and spinal cord to all parts of the body. Their function is to carry impulses or messages to and from the central nervous system. Subdivisions of the peripheral nervous system are the autonomic and somatic, and the somatic nervous systems, which control involuntary and voluntary functions and actions. All right, that's the biggest thing. You don't have to get into too much of the structure and function, but the part that comes down to the nerves of the head, face, and neck, again, we're trying to identify the things that make sense to us in our industry. Okay. All right. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. All are connected to part of the brain surface. They emerge through the openings on the sides and base of the cranium and reach various parts of the head, face, and neck. That's what we're concerned with. All right. Largest of the cranial nerves is the 5th cranial nerve, also known as the trifacial nerve or trigeminal nerve. It is the chief sensory nerve of the face, serves as the motor nerve of the muscles that control chewing. It consists of 3 branches. Okay, the ophthalmic nerve, the mandibular nerve, and the maxillary nerve. All right. So the ophthalmic nerve supplies impulses to the skin of the forehead, upper eyelids, and interior portion of the scalp, the orbit, the eyeball, nasal passage. The mandibular nerve affects the muscles of the chin, lower lip, and external ear. The maxillary nerve supplies impulses to the upper part of the face. Okay. Now, you have following branches of the fifth cranial nerve. We'll gloss over those, but those are not as important as just knowing about the fifth cranial nerve in itself. All right. So, real quick, you got the auriculotemporal nerve, infraorbital nerve, infratrochlear nerve, mental nerve, nasal nerve, supraorbital nerve, supratrochlear nerve, and the zygomatic nerve. Okay. Those are the branches of the fifth cranial nerve. Now, if you want to, it wouldn't hurt for you to just go over those as far as like just looking at the diagram. You don't have to go over it with a fine tooth comb, so to speak. Okay. Simply because, again, most of this part of anatomy and physiology, they are more concerned with the identity functions of the hair and scalp, the skin. Okay. Bones and muscles and joints of the head, face, and neck, the neck, shoulders, upper back. All right. They want you to just know more about the function of the nervous system. All right. So we're going to move on and we're going to go to the circulatory system, also known as the cardiovascular system or the vascular system. It controls the steady circulation of the blood through the body by means of the heart and blood vessels. The circulatory system consists of the heart, arteries, veins, and capillaries that distribute blood throughout the body. Pretty self-explanatory if you know what circulatory means. Okay, it circulates through your body. What circulates through your body? The blood, right? Okay. Real quickly, heart, muscular cone-shaped organ that keeps the blood moving within the circulatory system. It is often referred to as the body's pump for obvious reasons. All right. Next, blood vessels. They are tube-like structures that include the arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules, and the veins. The function of these vessels is to transport blood to and from the heart and then to various tissues of the body. Types of blood vessels: you have arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules, and veins. Again, that falls under blood vessels. What do they function? Transport blood to and from the heart and then the various tissues of the body. Okay. Next, blood. Now, blood has a certain place in a few of these because we just talked about blood exposure, but now we're going to talk about blood that's just going on in its regulatory states. Okay. Nutritious fluid circulating through the circulatory system to supply oxygen and nutrients to cells and tissues and to remove carbon dioxide and waste from them. They are approximately 8 to 10 pints of blood in the human body, which contribute about 1/20 of the body's weight. Blood is approximately 80% water, sticky, salty, with a normal temperature of 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. It is bright red in the arteries, except for the pulmonary artery, and dark red in the veins. The color change occurs with the exchange of carbon dioxide for oxygen as the blood passes through the lungs, and again with the exchange of oxygen for carbon dioxide as the blood circulates through the body. Okay, the chief functions of the blood. Blood performs the following critical functions. Okay, carries water, oxygen, and food to all cells and tissues of the body, especially the hair. We're going to come back to that. Carries away carbon dioxide and waste products to be eliminated through the lungs, skin, kidneys, and large intestines. It helps equalize the body's temperature, thus protecting the body from extreme heat and cold. It works with the immune system to protect the body from harmful toxins and bacteria, and it seals leaks found in injured blood vessels by forming clots, thus preventing further blood loss. All right, another thing about blood that all we just said, take that. It does all of that for the hair too, which is going on inside your body, which is going on beneath the surface epidermis of the skin. It is going on beneath all of that, right? So that's why we say a lot of times when somebody is asking about their hair, what can they do about their hair? A lot of this has to do with blood, protein, natural body oils, right? All of these things are happening within your body. So Don't it make sense that proper diet, being hydrated, exercise, all of those things that help your body as a whole, that help your blood as a whole, don't you think that makes more sense that'll help your hair than to take a product that you think is you're going to put on the surface area on the outside of the skin and it's going to seep in and really help it? No. Most of the things that you can do to help your hair, you start by doing within your body. It comes down to things like blood, which is 80% water. Stay hydrated. I'm not saying it's a fix, but it is something that you can do immediately that can start to have an effect. Number one is being hydrated. Water goes a long way. Blood goes a long way. Keratin, or hard protein, which is produced inside the body, goes a long way. Sebum, which is natural body oils. All of that stuff goes a long way. Okay. Next, let's talk about the endocrine system. Why did they do that one first? Wait a minute. There we go. All right. This one's pretty short. Endocrine system, a group of specialized glands that affect the growth, development, sexual functions, and health of the entire body. You are dealing with glands, Glands. Good morning, Miss Tea Time in the building. Yeah, if y'all ain't following Miss Tea Time, go follow her right now. Tell her I sent you. Glands are secretory organs that remove and release certain elements from the blood to convert them into new compounds. There are two main types of glands. You have endocrine glands and exocrine glands. Endocrine glands, also known as ductless glands, such as the thyroid and pituitary glands, they release hormonal secretions directly into the bloodstream. And then you have exocrine glands. Thank you. Appreciate that. Then you have exocrine glands, also known as duct glands, such as sweat and oil glands of the skin, that produces a substance that travels through small tube-like ducts. And then you have hormones. They are secretions, such as insulin, adrenaline, and estrogen, that stimulate functional activity or other secretions in the body. Okay? Hormones influence the welfare of the entire body. Now, so far, out of the nervous, circulatory, endocrine, and integumentary systems, the main one, the easiest one to deal with and to retain the information is the endocrine system. Okay, that's all you got for the endocrine system. There's a diagram where you can take a look at it, but the biggest thing that you need to know about it is the glands and what the glands do. All right, and last we have the integumentary system. Okay, this one pretty easy too. It consists of the skin and its accessory organs, such as the oil and sweat glands, the sensory receptors, the hair, and the nails. It is a very complex system that serves as a protective covering and helps regulate the body's temperature. The word integument means a natural covering. So you can think of the skin as a protective overcoat for your body against the outside elements that you encounter every day, such as germs, chemicals, and sun exposure. Skin is also water resistant. Now, that sounds like one of those things that is obvious, but you would be surprised how many times people miss that question, especially on one of my quizzes. Okay. All right, and thank you guys for liking the live. Listen, I think this is the first time I done went over 3K. Y'all done did that. So thank you, Fiona. Thank you, Miss Tea Time. Whoever else it was, thank you. I really, really do appreciate it. Okay. All right, that puts us at our time. Look, we went double the amount this time. Like I said, it's for my veterans. I got some veteran students. Today is Veterans Day, and basically, I want to say, the typical things that you would say to your veterans, like thank you for your service and all this good stuff. So the least I could do was be of service with this knowledge and this education, because I want y'all to pass this test the first time, and I want you to get your licenses as soon as possible. So that way we can start talking about all the other stuff. Like, I like talking about the stuff that really gets you to the bag, like business, investing, filing your taxes, dealing with the banks, talking with the banks, getting some of that credit going, all that good stuff. So That's waiting for you on the other side of your license. Now, what I will say is, if I were you, I would go ahead and LLC my chair right now, because you want to start that period so you have your 2 years or more for when you try to get a business line of credit from the bank, which is different from a business loan. We don't give a shit about business loans. We ain't worried about business loans, ain't even in our vocabulary when we go to the banks. But personal credit, business credit card, and a business line of credit. Well, it's that business line of credit that they want to see that your company been going on for 2 years. Like I said, see, I can get into that all day long. I can talk about that all day long. But before that, I need y'all to get y'all license. I need y'all to be legit so you can be reporting your legit money so we can get to all of that good stuff. And I can't wait to teach it to you. I got plenty of classes in addition to my main one, which is what? Pass Barber Theory. All right. So that being said, if you or anybody that you know can use my services, somebody that has been trying to take the test and keep failing, somebody that's about to take the test, somebody that you know that's in barber school, somebody that you have seen that is about to embark on a barber journey, things of that nature. Okay, your next step is going to be getting the hours so you can take the test. All right. If anybody that you know having a problem with it, I do have a paid class where we talk about more pertinent information. We talk about more high percentage information, all of that stuff. The high percentage meaning anything that's 75% or higher that you're probably going to encounter on your test. I got that. Okay. I got a Black Friday sale coming up where I break up all of these 4 domains, particularly scientific concepts. Like I go into as much depth as you can possibly imagine, every facet of the content that you need to be well prepared. Okay, I'm gonna have a Black Friday sale where I'm gonna have all the classes as a whole, and I'm gonna have the classes broken up too, but you're gonna be able to get discounts on all that good stuff. So that being said, I am your instructor, Pierre Huey, aka Mr. P. The P is for patience. The P is for pass your barber exams. The P is for perseverance and some more shit. All right. Y'all have a great Monday. And to my veterans, happy Veterans Day. Peace.